You should care about the budget because ultimately, listen to the language that people are speaking in at the moment. They're speaking about future generations, that is you, being saddled with future debt that you will have to pay off through your taxes. How on earth can you be blasé about the budget when budgets that are happening now are being predicted to affect your future? Budget this year, I'd say it's not entirely bad, but ultimately I feel that it was a real missed opportunity to absolutely hammer home that there will be recovery in the economy over the next 12 to 18 months. One of my key policies, and this is one that is very close to my heart, is the introduction of more nuclear power stations into Britain. Now that may be a very controversial policy, but my belief is that if we are to adapt our economy away from fossil fuels to combat climate change, my belief is the best of the renewable fuels that doesn't produce greenhouse gases is nuclear power. And rather than being drowned by a flood in London, I'd much rather be growing old with my grandchildren, and therefore I should care now. I should be looking to see how I can put pressure on the government to ensure that this happens. One major idea, which is very much a short-term measure, was a finance scheme to see the government lending to small businesses which are struggling as a result of the recession. The reality is that many of the small businesses that are really struggling in the economy at the moment are struggling not because they're bad businesses, they won't make profit, but just because businesses to actually function day to day have to borrow money from banks, and banks, because they've messed up their own balance sheets, are scared to lend any money out on the off chance it doesn't come back. One idea which I came up with was to give all adults in this country what are known as skills vouchers, which you can cash in these vouchers in exchange for training courses or further education. And the idea of that was, in the short term, by rushing it through quickly, you could help workers who've lost their jobs in the recession to retrain so that they have a higher chance of getting back into work quickly. If we consider all the money that is generated in the UK over the year, the government is responsible for 40% roughly of the spending that goes on in the economy. So therefore the budget is telling us how 40% of the money in our country is being spent. That's far, far higher than any private company on its own. So if that's not important, I really don't know what is.